Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour, and I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. You know, that's how we do it around here, folks. Nothing but straight talk up in here. We have a great show for you today, and my co-host is a wonderful, the AI man, Mr. Keith Swanson, in his own right. He says he's going to shut everybody down because he is AI. How are you, Keith?
I am good. I'm coming with the bears. I'm taking your jobs, and you guys are all bear meat.
I don't think you're going to be too well loved up in the house today, okay? All right. Don't be taking folks' jobs. They already
already started.
Where we're going to do something about that. We're going to do something. My other co-host is Mr. Ricky David. You guys know him. That's that famous author. He's all over the place teaching people how to do it, when to do it, what to do. Book, When a Mustard Seed Gets Heavy. Wow.
Man, that mustard seed getting mighty heavy right now.
Oh, but you gotta know what to do when it gets heavy, okay?
Yeah, so, you gotta learn.
Yeah.
You gotta learn fast.
Exactly. And Keith would tell you how. Keith, how are you today?
Oh, me? Good?
No, I got
Ricky.
you. Ricky, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's definitely getting heavy. But one thing that I tell people is the heavier the seed gets, the stronger your faith should get.
Oh, now that's a good one.
That's true.
I like that. Okay, that's good. That's coming. You guys heard it straight from Ricky. You definitely want to get his book, When the Mustard Seed Get Heavy, and you want to read the book, the poem, which is the one I love so much. It's Circle. Oh, that circle is just powerful. You got to read it. Got to give it to your kids so they can understand who need to be in that circle, why, and who needs to be taken out of that circle. Well, good to have you back, Ricky.
Thank you.
We have the Valley Girl. It's my Valley Girl you got.
Oh, and she be here.
That would be me.
We talking about you today.
How you doing, Valley Girl?
I'm doing fantastic. Just making it happen.
This real estate guru. She buy houses, flip houses, sell houses. She does everything to houses but clean houses. I'm just kidding. She clean houses, but her house, okay?
Yes.
And she really is a great motivational person. Has one of the most, I think, excellent. What you call it? That board vision.
Oh, the goal board.
The goal board. Not
Absolutely
vision. The goal.
Yes.
So you can see where you're going. What you need to do to get there, and recognize when you are there. I think that's a good point, right, Shawana? You got to know when you're there.
You have to know, and you have to be grateful, too, because the more grateful you are, the more God understands that He knows that you're in His favor.
Okay.
And He'll give you more.
All right, you heard it straight from Shawana, the lady who does have more. She knows what more looks like, and she knows what it feels like. She has property all over the United States. So I think when I'm traveling, I'm just going to see if I can, rent one of those places where she is. But anyway, you guys, we have a great guest for you today. I'm telling, absolutely incredible. Miss Elaine Jackson. She's a public speaker. She's a coach. She's a corporate trainer dealing with corporate, just what takes place in the workshop. If you have a business, you're a corporation, and you want somebody to come and really lay down the ground rules to make the system, I'm going to repeat that, system have to be in place to make it work. So if you're looking for that person, I know a lot of people, corporate has laid off, downsized, so now they need people to come in because using that staff development, they took it out of their budget. So if you want to be up and running proficiently in your business, Miss Elaine Jackson is the person you need. Good morning, Miss Jackson. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. It's so nice to think that I'm in California. I'm going to keep that thought in my mind.
Well, we're going to get you out here doing something, you guys. So look,
Awesome.
Let me tell you what we're talking about today. Authentic leadership. That means being yourself, being real. How many people in the workplace are really, when you think about it, being authentic? You know, you have to wear one face. Are you wearing one face at work and a different one at home? I mean, look, you have to just transition so much when you're in leadership, but you have to look at what it costs now. We know that, yeah, it's true. Most people have to work, right? Let's face it, most people have to work. A lot of people want to be in leadership, want to be in management, but what does it cost? What is the real cost of being in leadership, being in management? What does it cost you? Does it damage your family, your children, your husband, your wife? You're enjoying the job, but when you come home, what happened? Wow. Especially when you're in a workplace that's toxic. Now, I know some of you all know what that is, being in a workplace so toxic. They paying you just enough to make you stay. And you doing just enough work for them to let you stay. Hello, somebody. Anybody out there on that kind of job? Y'all know what I'm talking. You doing just enough that they don't fire you. And they paying you just enough to make you stay. Wow. What kind of life is that? You know, a lot of people who've had heart attacks. I heard someone say that more people have heart attacks on Monday morning than any other time. That means they don't like their job. They hate, they dread. They wake up on Monday, not again. You know how people say, teach, thank God it's Friday. Now they're saying, whoo, I hate it's Monday.
They call it Stormy Monday, right?
Yeah, so is that the kind of job you're on? But the real deal is when you're on these jobs, how does it impact your home? Now, you know, you can leave a job and you take the job home with you, right? You angry, you frustrated, you take it with you. But Miss Jackson, can you take the home to the job and keep it?
Oh my God! Take the home to the job.
You know how you take the job to your home, but can you take that mess? You mad? You left the house, telling everybody all slamming the door. You're mad, but when you get to that job, all of that has to dissipate. But when you leave the job with all that mess, you bring it home. Talk to me. What's going on here?
Yeah, so Dr. Rosie and everyone, thanks so much for having me on this platform. This is a topic in my heart because, number one, I have worked over 25 years in the workplace, corporate environments, and I've seen I've had great experiences, and some of the experience I've had have really been not so great. You know, you try to do more, and I do believe when people work in corporate, they over-deliver because they want to prove to the manager, hey, I'm doing extra, I'm going to earn that raise, that bonus, and when it comes time for the raises, they tell you, sorry, there's no more money in the budget, maybe next year. I have met people that actually went 14 years with no raise. The same salary for 14 years, even though the cost of inflation, the cost of groceries and gas and everything goes up, their salary stayed at that point. And some of those individuals are single moms. So it's really something to really consider when people work in the corporate workplace and they want to give their all. And so I wanted to talk about this today and also have the audience and those that are, here in the Zoom really chime in. And so I don't know, the format is, do you want me to talk a little bit about what's going on in the workplace? I do have some leadership styles to discuss. I do have a free gift. I have an offer. So you tell me how you want the format to go so that it can go smoothly for everybody.
Okay, let's start out talking about what offer you have for us today.
Okay, so the offer is I have a free PDF document, and it's 10 leadership approaches. And what I've done is compare leadership approaches with the associated theories. So as you know, you talked about systems. There are theories that help drive leadership. But the problem is those theories don't really work when you have individuals in the workplace that have a hidden agenda. The hidden agenda is they come to work and they don't like you have on nice shoes, you have a new handbag, maybe you went on a cruise and now they're mad at you because maybe they think you have a better life than they do. And this is not only race driven. So I want people to realize, maybe thinking, oh, maybe, she's black, so maybe it's only black people. My daughter is a nurse practitioner, and she said to me, Mom, you're not the only person that deals with this. This is part of life. Mm-hmm. So it made me realize, are people accepting bad treatment as a norm? Like, okay, my manager dumps on me. I need this job to pay for my kids. Like, my kids went to private school. So I was not going to do anything to interrupt that money coming in for their private school. And when they went to college, I was like, hey, that money, I need that money to buy books and give them money for transportation. So there's some things that you compromise on. So this gift is talking about the 10 top strategies or approaches in leadership. And one of them is like Tuckman's stages of team development. So when you go on a job, the first thing you do, you get together with your team. So they have the 5 stages: forming, norming, performing. And so we talk about, how do we get the team to come together? How do we get people to understand each other? Sometimes there's a lot of backstabbing and, people going after each other. And then the sponsor says, hey, I'm going to get rid of the team. And then they're like, oh, we're going to behave like children. They're like, behave. And then they start to normalize and participate properly. And then the team performs well. And then the team is let go. And so there's a cycle. You'll notice when you go to a project or you go to a conference, you get to know people. Then they start to show you who they really are. Then you have to decide if you're going to stay and deal with that person and say, hey, I think we can try to get along, or just say, hey, to hell with it. I don't want to be bothered with that person. They're very toxic, and you push them away. So it's up to you to decide to set parameters, to set barriers, to set expectations of what you want. And many times, what I have found, my parents are from the Caribbean. My mom, she dealt with a lot of racism. She worked on Wall Street, and she came home crying every day. And she told me and taught me, this is the way it is. Your boss treats you bad, you try to be nice to them, and one day they will like you. They'll get tired. They will get tired of treating you this way. And then they will start to like you and give you promotions. She lied. Because
so you wait for that.
It only gets worse. So you have to interrupt it. When it first starts, you have to interrupt it and say, are we having a moment? Can we have a conversation? Do I need to escalate this? Do I see a problem here? And oh no, there's no problem. Then the issue will happen again. So don't keep waiting for it to happen 15 times for you to realize there's a problem, especially when you go to a meeting, nobody wants to sit next to you. You go to a meeting, you raise your hand, nobody acknowledges you, like you're not even in the room, or you're presenting and people are talking and having their own conversation while you're speaking from the front of the room. So you need to command the respect. And it's not about beating up people and treating them bad. You just set the tone, as you do with children, right? You set the tone. This is the way it's going to go. You can even lower your voice so they have to lean in to catch what you're saying.
Like, yeah, body tone. Now, let me jump in here and ask you a question. So we're talking about corporate, we're talking about the workplace. They strive, and then we're going to have those on here if they've had experience with toxicity in the workplace. Describe some of the ills, some of the symptoms when you know that a workplace is toxic. And then we're going to come back. We're talking about leadership. I want people to think about, we're talking about in the corporate world, but I want to tie it into these entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs. Because when you're out there, there's no different. If you are the boss, you know, you running the business, you're managing, we're still talking about leadership. And I think that's what entrepreneurs sometimes fail to equate the difference being in corporate America than running your own business. There's still leadership. You are the leadership. You're setting the standard. And we're talking about the same thing. You going home, taking your frustration out on your wife, your kids, and their dog versus dealing with it at your office. You may have staff that you need to get rid of, but you have made them, you're so dependent on them. What do you do? So give us some of how do you know when that environment at work is toxic? You got to know when it's toxic, but you recognize what to do.
Well, let me give you some clear examples that I have seen. That, that someone comes and asks you for maybe a document that you should have had done last week, but they never told you. And then they're asking you for it last minute. And you say, oh, my goodness, you never told me. Then they say something like they do this thing, this gaslighting. Oh, yes, I told you. You always forget. So they raise their voice and they make it so that other people are looking in. So now you feel some kind of way about that. So, yeah, I sent it to you. You just check your email. So now you do this running around like a dog chasing its tail. Where's the document? Did he send it to me? And you're checking and checking. You can't find it. So what I had started doing was tagging my messages. So when I send a message to somebody, I tag it. So I have proof that it was delivered. And then I also have proof that it was open. So if they don't open it, now I have proof that I did deliver it, but you never opened it. Okay, so there's things like that. There's things like telling you that there's some bonus opportunity, but there's only limited amount of funding. And then it's always the same 2-3 people that get those, even though you worked really hard. They find little things like you didn't put the period at the end of the sentence 4 times. Oh, you used the wrong word, or you spelt something wrong 3 times. It's little things. It's not. So
that's almost like nagging. It's almost saying
yeah. So then you end up starting to try to be more perfect. You almost get afraid to send a document out because you're like, oh my God, is there any errors in it? So you double check and triple check and quadruple check everything. You start to become a bit paranoid about your own ability to perform. And then it really wears you down. A lot of I teach project management and helping people to get the certification. And my clients, many of them tell me, oh my God, I was under so much stress that I had fibroids and was bleeding and had to go to hospital and have to have surgery. I'm like, wow. Or another woman told me that what she does is when she gets to work, she doesn't eat or drink anything all day so she doesn't have to go to the bathroom. So she works the straight 8, 7, 8, 9 hours with no breaks, no going to the bathroom.
So we're talking about this workplace. We're talking about the things that it can happen to you. I guess that's why a lot of people, entrepreneurs, they can't deal with it. Some of the results are not being authentic, and some of the issues we're trying to lead in the workplace. When I say in the workplace, I want everybody on here to know I'm also talking about in your workplace, in your job, because folks, it's really the same. So we're talking about medical breakdown that happens. People get sick. A lot of people on jobs that makes them sick. Let's pause for a moment for Keith, Shawana, or Ricky may have some comments or want to chime in. If they've ever been on a job, was it toxic? Did it make you sick? And I'm just thinking about what it must be like, Miss Jackson. To be on a job, you mentioned how you had to educate your children. To be on a job, you have your daughter, your son in college, and this job is giving you stress on top of stress, and you cannot quit. Oh my God. I see why so many people are sick. I see why there's so much high blood pressure and everything else. Because how many people know many people that's really happy on their job? Let's take some.
Very few.
Wow.
Very few.
Very few.
That's why they call it a job.
Less than very few.
Rick, you said less than very few.
You know what? Let me say this to you. I say less than very few because just yesterday I was meeting with one of my clients, and this is fresh off the press.
Okay.
I met with her yesterday evening. We met for an hour, and I would say out of that hour's time, 45 minutes was about her job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And how stressful it was. And she was late to my session because she had a meeting that went over. Well, she was complaining about her shoulder, right? And I told her, I said, your shoulder is probably the stress that you got going on because of work and also home life. Well, right before I got on this show, she texted me and said she had to go to ER this morning because the pain went from her shoulder to her chest.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
And so she just got an EKG, and now she's getting an X-ray. Mm-hmm. She says, I will keep you posted. Because I told her, I says,
that's
the stress, I said, the stress is going to do one or two things. It's going to alert you to make different choice and decision with your present situation, or it's going to consume you where you're going to get worse. Yes. I said, you have to identify those signs. And you have to know exactly where the stress is coming from and how to counter it, because it's not going to go away unless you do something about it. Mm-hmm. So the job right now is a stress pool that is constantly spreading like cancer. And so many people are left with questions of, what do I do? Because I still need a check. I still need to take care of my responsibilities. But they're not really understanding that there are different resources they can tap into and how to go about it so they can maintain their health and their peace of mind, but still be able to take care of their families.
Wow. Right. I'm going to come to Shawana, but let me ask you this, Ms. Jackson. In your line of work, do you go in and show corporate America, their leadership, management hierarchy, how to decompress and how to recognize when their employees is at their last whip?
Well, that almost borders on counseling and also on healthcare. And so what I do, if I were to offer a workshop and says toxic in the workplace, they'd be like, oh, we don't have any toxicity. But if I offer something like communications in the workplace, and in that workshop, people then decompress and start to talk, that's when I can bring in and fold in some of the solutions. So I have all these, I get a lot of these great ideas. And one of the ideas I said, why don't we do a what they call a gurney? You know what a gurney is, right? Mm-hmm. Dr. Rosie? Some people may not know because they're probably much younger than we are, but a gurney is a hospital bed. Mm-hmm. And they used to have these gurney races where they go in a parking lot with like 2 or 3 hospital beds and people dress up like a patient and they have a team racing with the patient on there. You got to do something crazy and different with your team. You've got to take your team and say, hey, we're going to take some time off from work. Maybe that we bring in some other people to help from another department, and we're just going to decompress and we're going to just let it all go. And we're going to talk about the issues. We're going to bring it up. Maybe another way is to not point fingers, but to put your questions or your problems or who you have an issue with in the basket. And then we're going to pull it out one by one, and we're as a team going to work on it. So you have to find creative ways to motivate your team, but allow them to decompress and then feel like they're bonding. I think teams are doing so much work, they don't have time to bond. They're not bonding anymore.
And I want to say, you guys, that doesn't just apply to corporate America. If you are an entrepreneur, that same principle that she's talking about actually happen in your business. And a lot of business do not have meetings. I think people have gotten away from having meetings because they really don't give a hoot about how you feel. Just get the job done. I know a lot of churches now say, we don't hold business meetings. Why not? And I don't care how you feel, what you think. So if we don't have a meeting, I don't have to listen to you bitching and griping. Just get the work done. Shawana, you want to make a comment?
Oh, I definitely want to chime in.
I knew you wanted to jump in.
So
Come
exciting. I love talking about business. I mean, what you just spoke about meetings. I tell people right now, you have to have meetings. And it's not just meetings at the job, but you have to have meetings with yourself. You have to wake up in the morning and have a meeting with yourself. That's the reason why we get so overwhelmed. In business, the reason why people I believe get overwhelmed is because they have all these things that they must do, my to-do list, and it never gets done. And they get overwhelmed. By Monday, this gets piled up. By the next Monday, more gets piled up, and it never gets done because you never wrote it down. You have to have a system.
Yeah.
You have to have a system. You have to know what you're going to do today. That's the reason for the meeting with yourself. I mean, I know before I started writing things down in my manifestation planner that I have, I used to have papers all over, right? And those papers are just everywhere. But if you have a system that you write your stuff down every day, this is what I need to do at my job, you'll get it done. But not only have a system of getting things done at your job, because just as you said, people are unhappy with their jobs. They're unhappy with what they're doing. It's because other people are planning out your life. You have to learn how to plan out your own life too. If your 9-to-5 job is, I need to have a 9-to-5 to get the money coming in to pay the bills and everything, you have to realize you have to have time for yourself as well. What are you doing with before 9 a.m. and what are you doing after 5 p.m.? Are you planning out your life? Are you planning out what you want to do? You have to start planning out what you want to do. You have to start writing down your goals. You have to start writing down what you're going to do for your goals. So when you go to work, you're not stressed out. You've already checked off everything that you need to do. Not only did you check off what you need to do for others, but now you have a system to check off for you because that's what it takes.
I love Shawana because she's so ideological. You do this. That's valid, girl. You guys.
But it works, though. It works.
It does.
It does. When you write it down, you'll be amazed. Because I used to wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, my God, I forgot to do that. But when you have it written down, you won't wake up doing that.
I do that, and I put it in priority. You know, I rate it 5, 4 if I have to let something go. But when you're on that job, when I say job, I'm talking about your business too, is they always say, you ever had a situation, anybody on here ever had a situation that you had it all mapped out, 1, 2, the things that you were going to do. And you got to work, all hell broke loose. Something happened, something didn't work, somebody needs something. And that whole day that you didn't even get a chance to touch that list. Is that stress or not?
It is. Oh, my God. That's what I'm saying. It is so stressful.
But at least you know tomorrow I can work on. At least you still have it. Is to say on the back burner. So it's best to have it on the back burner and never get to it than not to have it at all. Keith, did you have a comment? We see Lachelle Bell is on. Joy, if you want to chime in.
Yeah,
people are so unhappy. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's something because I have to talk to people all the time about stuff like this in different jobs, and from my experience working in on different jobs, stuff like that, what I find out is what people tend to do is they stay, they concentrate on their 9 to 5, right? Their little widget, their little box, stuff like that, right? And what happens is you don't know where you fit in down the chain, okay? So every job I've ever been in, I don't care when I was in McDonald's at 16 years old, okay? I tried to find out what the manager knew all the way down to the person that's under me that knows, right? And where do I fit in the chain, okay? And how does the chain work? If you understand how the chain works from top to bottom, okay, then you're not surprised. You come into a meeting, okay, and see people looking at you. I know what you do. I know what you do. I know what you do. I need to. I know where I fit into this chain. So I know where I need to be, what information I need to give you. I know what information I need to feed back. And when my boss comes to me, okay, the first thing I ask him, okay, ultimately, what do you need me to do? Okay, not what you're blaming me for. What do you need me to? What is the purpose of me being here, and why is what I do important to you, and where do I fit in? And a lot of people don't ask that question. I'm just worried about getting my task done for that day, going home and clocking out, and sometimes that makes the job harder. Now, initially, in the very beginning, it's hard because you're learning learning the system. Okay, but after a while, you become the person that they go to. And a lot of people that I've counseled, okay, I said you have especially around white folks, okay. How do I work around white folks that don't like me? I said you got to become the person that they come to for answers, okay. Then they'll start taking your lunch. Then they'll start looking for you. Then they'll start putting their hands around your shoulders because okay, I need this guy. You have to be.
What you're trying to say, you got to be smart. You got to be smart. You have to. Go beyond.
You have to go beyond.
You have to outdistance. Do you find that to be true, Ms. Jackson? That you got to be better? That's what they taught us back in the day. You got to be 3 times better than the other people, 4 times. Was anybody else on here taught that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my dad said that. Hi, Joy. What were you saying? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no. I was saying, yes, ma'am, that's been told to me. We got to be better. And then sometimes you're trying to do the best and go beyond. Then you're late. But there's so many problems. It's not, and you can't people are not doing their job. You're catching up on their stuff. I worked in hospital. And, the aide not doing her work. And you're cleaning up her mess. And then the family member has a problem. Then someone that you don't even know has a problem. You can't tell people, oh, I can't talk to you. I'm too busy. And so it's to be a rat race.
So what I'm hearing is most people, which is in an unhappy world, right? People unhappy at work. But let's talk about, Ms. Jackson, how does this impact your family life, your marriage? This when you say authentic leadership, are you really saying be yourself?
Well, you can be yourself, but what if your husband won't let you be yourself? What if you won't let your husband be himself? Right? You're always on that phone with customers. Oh, like I used to have some concerns with my family. I'm like, oh, you didn't say any problem when I gave you $500 when that other check came in. Then they go, oh, yeah, okay. They remember the wonderfulness of getting the check. I don't remember my kids ever give them a big check. I've never heard them say, oh no, Mom, take the check back and go buy yourself some shoes. Don't give it to us. They were like, thank you. And then off they go shopping. So the thing is, you need to get your family on board. It's like when I close that door, I don't want to hear the dog. I don't want to hear anybody come and ask me for where's the hammer and all that. I'm on a conference call. Do not ask me for anything unless the house is burning down. Don't come in here. I get on a call many times. I'm going all day. I'm serious. I'll start at maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and it will go till 10 o'clock at night, taking little breaks here and there. And my family's like, oh my God, you've been in that room. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm not sitting in here playing Scrabble or something, So the thing is, you have to get your family on board. You have to get your spouse on board. These are the days I'm working. I'm copying you on my calendar. Please don't bother me. If you need something, here's my debit card. Go do for the kids or whatever, but you've got to have a plan. It's like, don't come in my space. Don't. So I've had to throw a shoe at somebody, and I'm not going to tell you who, but I had to throw a shoe. It's like, it's noise out.
Now, you can see, you guys, where so many homes are such a disarray because of the workplace and because of the entrepreneurship. I think it's important to deal with timing. When I used to work as a nurse, when I worked 11 to 7, they said the graveyard shift, it would sure put you in the grave. But when I came home, I would say to my kids, okay, because I would go to bed like 6 and sleep to get my last little sleep in about 9 and then get up and go to work. Okay, from 4 to 6, you got me. Okay? After, you can go out and play with your friends and then come in later saying, oh, I need you to help me with this. You don't have me. So I think setting time management is really crucial. So you choose now. These are the hours. You got me full wholehearted. So if you don't take advantage of that, then you got me the next day. Because I think these jobs and entrepreneurship will wreck a home, will wreck a family, and you think, well, wow, I'm buying you everything. I bought you a car. You're thinking of all things you're doing, but what they're saying, I want you. You gave me everything, Mom, but you didn't give me you. And that's what I wanted. I wanted you. My friend, little boy, I think he was about 6. I was keeping him while she went to school at night. So he was crying when she left. So she told him she said, you stop that crying and you be nice because your mommy going to school. Your mommy going to be a doctor. He said, I don't need no doctor. I need a mommy at 6 years old.
Okay.
You see? So sometimes we get caught up in the shuffle and we never ask our family what they need because we're buying stuff. We got them in a nice home. We bought you a car. Yeah. But if that's what they need.
You never got them on board. You never got them on board. You never asked, is the lifestyle that you're going to lead with them is what they want? Okay. If you want the good stuff, you want the Jordans, you want all the trips and all the kind of stuff. Okay, this is what you're going to have to give up. So in other words, if you want me, you want more of my time. Okay, then you're going to have to give up something out of your lifestyle. What is the balance that you want?
But are you going to change with that answer? That's the question, Dr. Jackson. No. Even if they say, I don't want all this. I don't care about this car. I can walk to school. I want more time with you. Are you going to say, well, okay?
I think your kids do want more time with you. I think you owe it to your children to spend more time with them.
What about your husband? What about your significant other?
I think you owe it to yourself to spend more time with your husband, to spend more time with your children. And it really takes the time of saying, I am going to systemize my lifestyle, systemize what I need to do.
Right.
I think your children and your family needs you more than your job and everything else. Of course, you need to make your money. But there's a way to make your money. You just have to understand the system. You have to spend the time with your kids. It's important. Otherwise, they grow up wrong. They grow up by someone else, teaching them. And they didn't ask for that thing. You're asking them, what do you want? Do you want those Jordans? No, you want to give them Jordans to the children because you want them to have the nice lifestyle. But at the same time, you have to say, this is the time that I have, not you got me. No, you got to spend that time with the children. I think your kids comes first, period. They come first. And then your husband, if you got
to run the balance.
They didn't ask for that 5, just 2 kids, and you got to have that 5-bedroom house. They didn't ask for that. That's
they didn't ask for it.
They didn't ask for that. That's making you feel good and you're showing off.
That's the thing.
Good with that.
That's the thing that the so-called boss women are finding out, right? There was like 4 or 5 books written from 2012 to like 2014, right? Okay, is you have to find a partner, find a man that will take up the slack if you're going to be that boss person. Just like the man have to find a certain kind of woman to actually be in the house and take up the slack when he has to work 70-hour weeks. Okay, you're going to have to find the opposite. And what has come back is most women are not willing to make that sacrifice. I'm not willing to take care of a man. I'm not willing to take care of a family. Okay, if you're going to step into those shoes where you're going to be that boss chick, you're going to work 50, 60, 70 hours. I might be. What I'm saying is it's in the documents. Okay, I'm not saying, I'm not pulling this out of my behind.
Keith,
right?
You believe everything you read.
No.
I agree with Keith. I agree.
What I'm saying is, if you're a corporate guy and you work in, you pull in 60, 70 hours a week or 80 hours a week or however many hours you're putting in, right? Okay, you're going to have somebody at home taking care of your family. Okay, you can't do it. Okay, and men are already acclimated to doing that. They don't have no problem with getting a woman that doesn't work or stays home and takes care of the kids, stuff like that. Women have not grown into
really?
that. Yes. Women have not grown into that.
He said that with commitment. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if
look at Ricky smile.
What said if you
Ricky say he want her on the job. Just like you get up when I get up.
We have some very high powered women saying the exact same thing.
Entrepreneurship, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of
there's always going to be one person that takes that lead.
You're going to have to take somebody's going to have to take that load. Okay.
Okay,
it could be the husband or the wife.
It could be the husband or the wife. Yes, I'm not saying either one. Okay.
I'm going to make this comment and I'm going to go to our guest.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about, here's what I want you, I'm coming from a counselor standpoint, okay? When we got married, we both was on a job, but just regular job. Now, you get elevated now, you're the president of the company. You talking about something, when you say you need to have a woman that that's going to adjust to that. But that's not how you started out. That's why we're talking about the changes that people have to make in life and how these position leadership can impact your marriage. Because when you got married, baby, you was not the president of this company. Okay. You were doing 8 to 5. So now you're putting in 80 hours. You're on call as a nursing supervisor. This is what we're talking about. It's not ideal. That most marriages, you don't start out, you're not the same position. You may not have any thoughts of going back to school. But now that you're married and things have changed, now you need to go back to college and work. Okay? So let's look at how being in leadership, whether it's on the job or in your business, how do you remain authentic and how do you keep it from wrecking your home and breaking down your health and driving you to drinking? Okay, back to my guest.
So Ricky and Keith, the two guys on here, they said they want the women to stay home so they can go out and
now, Ricky didn't say that. Ricky didn't say that.
Ricky didn't say that.
No,
I saw Ricky. I saw Ricky shaking his head.
I said that.
He was shaking his head, and it did seem like he was saying, "No, I'm not staying at home."
I said that because this is these are the surveys and this stuff that's coming back.
He stopped believing everything.
But they're echoing the same thing. Because I talked to a whole bunch of guys, right? They're echoing the same things I hear. So it's not something that I'm getting from.
I got a different echo. I got a different echo.
Yeah. Let's hear from Rick.
You talking to men who
I got a different echo.
They complain when they get a trophy wife. You want a trophy wife, and then when she says, "I need money and I need it," then you're like, "Oh my God, she wants money." Well, she doesn't. She's not making any money. She's sitting at home. So yeah, she's got to ask you for the money. She can't sit at home and have nothing. Like my mom had 2 pair of panties, 1 bra, and 2 dresses.
No,
that's how my mom.
That's not what I'm. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, let's go to Rick.
Not what I'm saying.
I understand what Keith is saying because a lot of men are like that. However, a lot of men like myself are not like that, and I'm gonna tell you why. One, to much is given, much is required. That's number one. For me, based on my experience, I've learned that whenever you start something, you got to finish it. So you have to be able to decide how you want to live your life. And if you're going to live your life with a woman, you got to know what you're getting yourself into, what the expectations are before doing it. And so a lot of times what men have done in the past, they've gone into a situation with an idea just solely on them, not considering what the woman either wants or is even potentially willing to give. So I think at this stage of the game, you got to ask yourself, what's really going to work for what you're trying to accomplish? Because yes, there's going to be sacrifices, period. But you have to be able to look at it from this perspective. Whoever has the strengths and the weaknesses in certain areas, you got to work together to make sure they work.
Yes.
And so for me, it doesn't really matter as far as if my wife is working or not working, because like I said, I used to be married and I've dealt with this twice. Mm-hmm. It always was an issue with the fact of her not being able to have a voice or her not being able to have the ability to do certain things without having to ask for it. And I think a lot of times when you go into relationships, communication, it suffers because there's so many assumptions. So I think when you have a plan, you have to have a plan before you jump in. You don't jump in and then try to develop a plan, because a lot of times people have these expectations. They're unrealistic. And so I just think that you got to know exactly what you want, and you got to be able to put that stuff on the table before you say I do. Because once you say I do, it's done. You can't go back and try to fit. So that's why I think a lot of men make that bad choice. They don't get that thing understood before they say I do, or women vice versa.
Okay, let me ask Elaine this. Let's look at this. Say you're married and your husband now has an opportunity to elevate his position. He's going from $100,000 to $150,000 job. Mm-hmm. But he lays it on the line, or should he lay it on the line? Things are going to change. I will be on call 3 days a week. I may get called and I may not. I am going to, it won't be anymore coming home at 5. My job requires me to work so many hours, and even when I come home, I have to bring work home. Should this be discussed?
Yes.
And then the person might can say, well, you know what? I'd rather you not take that position, because I don't want to have to raise the kids by myself. If you're not going to be here, we need to do it together. I'm just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. Should it be this kind of dialogue? Or are we so driven with money that we sacrifice our happiness and a family life? That's the question I'm throwing on the board. Talk to me.
Yeah, I believe that it has to be talked about, but I'm telling you, it takes 2 incomes to have a nice home. It takes 2 incomes to have a nice home.
What is a nice home? Let's define a nice home.
I live in Massachusetts, so
Boston.
the homes. Okay. I'm not in Boston, but yeah, Boston. Yeah, the homes are like almost $1 million homes. Yeah. And then they don't look like mansions, but because they're close to the train and close to the job, you're half an hour from your job. Everything is like walking distance. I live an hour and 10 minutes from Boston. I have to use a car for everything where I live. Mm-hmm. There's woods out where I live.
Oh, okay.
You know, so the homes here they're nice homes, but they're not $1 million homes. They're like maybe $300,000-$400,000 homes. Mm-hmm. But
now you have a 2-hour commute back and forth.
Right. I've got to do jobs that are local or from my home. Yes. If I go to Boston, I've got to leave my house at 5:30 in the morning to go catch the 6 o'clock train to go an hour and a half in. And then the train doesn't run in the middle of the day. So if I get sick, I got to wait till the train start running to come back home.
Well, let me ask a question. What are people typically willing to sacrifice for joy, is Al Green said, for love and happiness? It seemed to me that we're in a world where people don't want to sacrifice, but they want joy and they want peace. Mm-hmm. And everything they're doing leads to unhappiness and no peace because of the capitalist society and because of people keeping up with the Joneses and living in a house trying to match your profession. Because when my daughter finished medical school, most of her colleagues, first thing they did was got a BMW. So I told her no. So she bought an Avalon. Because people tell you when you're in a certain position what car you should drive. I remember telling one of my clients that I had to buy another car because I was having problems. That was some years ago. So he came to the office. He said, Doc, did you get your car? I said, yeah. I jumped up. He said, let me see it. I ran out to show him my car. It was a Taurus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he said to me?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to get a car.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, who writes the script about what kind of house we need to be in? Who writes the script about the nice house versus the comfort and the love and the happiness, and that your husband or wife is not working 2 jobs to look like what your family or friends should want to think you should look like? You know what I'm talking about, right, Shawan?
Yes, I do know what you're talking about, Dr. Rosie. I know my friends and everybody expects me to live in a nice home. They that's what they expect. If I decide to move from my home now, they were like, "Why would you move?" But you do things for yourself.
Yeah.
Learn to do things for yourself. It's not for everybody else's expectations of how you should live, and that's what happens to a lot of us. We get caught up buying the car that we're not supposed to buy. We get caught up buying the house you're not supposed to buy, and things. I know before I bought the home that I'm in, I could have bought it before I bought it, but I waited. I decided to invest into 2 apartment buildings before I bought the home. And don't buy the home. You have to start to learn how to invest your money before you
sacrifice.
The money. Before you spend.
That's the thing that people
you have to learn how to invest. You have to learn how to save.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't buy the bags. We can't go out and buy all the clothes and to look something that you're not. You have to save. You have to invest. You have to do what's right. And all of that is what's going to have you work a good, healthy job where you go in at Monday, you're not all stressed out.
Or you can quit that job that Elaine was talking about. Are you able? Do you guys know what it feels like to be able to walk away?
Mm-hmm.
I do. I know. I remember I did that.
Because I've had people
at a young age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You walked away from that good job. Good to who? It wasn't good to me. So yes, I walked away. So Elaine, let me ask you this question. Success at work should not mean failure at home.
No.
Right or wrong?
It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A coworker, and she was not a melanated person. She told me, she said, you know what? Your marriage would have lasted if you had somebody come in and do your laundry and clean your house once or twice a week. I'm like, gee, that'd be interesting. And I really thought about that for a long time. Like, could I have at least allowed somebody to come into my space and do cleaning for me and me spend date night out with my husband? Would that have been enough to give me a little bit of a ease from all the responsibility as a mom or as a wife? I don't know. I still think about it every so often.
I think you're making a great point, because I think for particularly African American women for years have had issues with having somebody come and clean their house, because they remember how their mother had to clean houses for other people. That's how they made a living. So it tends to be some issues about we call service jobs, because I used to wonder when people had this, why can't they keep their own kids? Why they need my auntie to come and clean their house twice a week? Mm-hmm. But now I understand it. You cannot do everything. And whoever made that reference to you was probably absolutely right. All that has to do with leadership. You're in those positions. I ain't gonna be doing this. I'm not gonna have anybody come into my house. I think we have to look at in a leadership role or being an entrepreneur, I think we're going to have to redefine how we're doing this if we want to have balance. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to close out with saying when you have a job or when you interact with somebody, a lot of times we wait for permission. Can I take vacation? Can I take some time off? I got to the point where I was told no so much that I started to say, I'm taking this week off. And it was like, hey, let's see what you're going to do with that. And we're like, oh, okay. And so, yeah, you're an entrepreneur. You can take all the time off you want. The more time you spend off, the less money you make. So you've got to put the time in as an entrepreneur to make your business successful. But when you're working in corporate, I believe that you need to have some kind of relationship with your manager, but your manager is not your mom. And we tend to, or your dad. So we tend to look up to the manager like, I'm doing really good work. Look at me. And can I get a raise? Instead of saying at month 3, hey, I know performance reviews is not happening for another 9 months, but I want to know, am I on track for getting that raise? Rather than wait the whole 12 months and then he says, nah, go back to, it's like chutes and ladders, go back to start. Nope, go back to start. So I just wanted to say that our managers are not our parents. We do not have to ask for permission. And, you may work as a nurse or a doctor in the job and it's healthcare and you have agenda. But the thing is that when they say, could you change with something? No, sorry. Don't change your schedule, because when you change your schedule, then eventually somebody's not going to change with you. And you're going to end up working Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter.
Wow. I think the real reason for this show was really to look at being authentic in the workplace and how being a leadership position should not ruin your health, should not break up your family, should not cause you to be emotionally drained. And it should not cause you to lose your peace. But there are people, they're happy at work. You think they're just, they're happy. They're so friendly. They everything to everybody. When they get home, they become that bear. B-E-A-R. And it's hard to B-A-R. It's hard to bear with them. Does that make sense? I've heard people talk about, it's like being at a funeral and somebody get up, Ricky, and they say all these nice things, and they said the kid looked at the mom and said, is they talking about our dad? It's the same thing. When you lose your joy, when you get in that door at home, when you've been joyed for all day, it's time to leave that job. It's time. That's when the mustard seed get heavy, Ricky.
Yes. Very much so.
That's
Very much so.
Yeah, if I can only be happy at work and it's because of what's going on at my job, I can't be authentic. I can't, if I'm not feeling it, I still have to smile. I still have to, you just have to put on a false face at work. How many of you have had to do that? Put on a false face.
And also, Elaine, before you go, please give people your contact information.
Absolutely. And put it in the chat.
It's in the chat already. Well, okay. Most people are not going to look in the chat, but please give us your contact information.
Yes, this is my contact in the chat. I don't know if people on the phone. I just, Dr. Rosie.
Read it out.
Yeah, or just give them reference. I see you have a YouTube commercial.
Yeah, I have a YouTube commercial. I have.
What's the name of your channel?
Holistic PMC.
Okay.
Or Holistic Project Management Consulting. And so that's the training. That's the name we go under for our training and our coaching.
So if they search for you, they can find you anywhere.
Yeah. Oh gosh. You just put me in Google. I'll show up over and over and over. Okay. Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn too. Okay. Elaine T. Jackson on LinkedIn. The company is Holistic. The website, holisticpmc.com.
Okay.
I know you
My
work
phone.
with corporate. Do you also work with solopreneurs?
I do. Many times individuals come to me and they don't want to be part of a group. They're like, I haven't been in school for a long time. I need some special help. I'm like, okay, let's work out a deal on what you need. Make sure it's a price point that is affordable because, some of the project management and IT training is no joke.
That's
Is not cheap. I mean, I had a guy ask me, could he give me $1 a week?
well,
I was like, hold on, I'll get back to you. And I think that was a couple of years ago, and he's still
okay.
waiting. No,
Okay.
$1 a week. Are you crazy? So if you can't afford it, then you like Shawana said, right? You have to budget yourself. You have to know your limits, save for it, and then come back for it. But time waits for no one.
Yeah. What are you going to give up? Let me end with this. When you want something, you always need to look at, what do I have to give up to get what I want? And most people don't want to think about that. So you may have to give up the Starbucks. You may have to give up cable. You may have to give up cable. That's what I said. But some people paying
Yes.
$300 a month. You may need to give up cable
Wow.
so you can invest in enhancing your business.
Okay. Yeah.
Life
So
is about giving.
in the chat is a free gift on the 10 leadership approaches. And I also have an offer of a program, a workshop. Is normally $100. I'm selling it for $19.99. And it's a workshop on how to look at toxic relationships and how to do an assessment on, has this happened to you? And what are the strategies that you can take to interrupt it and move forward now?
Elaine, do you have that on video on demand? Can they buy some of your tapes on demand? Some of your videos?
Some of the workshops I have are on demand. That one is not a workshop. That can be a workshop if somebody wants me to come into their company or they want me to come into their organization and deliver that as a workshop. And so we can sort of talk about that on an individual basis.
All right, you guys, the clock on the wall said we got to get up out of here, but this has been a great show. I've learned a lot. I'm Keith teaching me how to be a wife.
No,
Thank you.
Dr. Rosie, when you came about, a lot of this stuff did not exist. This is something that feminism is struggling with right now. Okay, feminism is struggling with this. Okay, in other words, biology does matter with male and females. Okay, women were not designed to be men, okay? Which is something that the white women thought. Okay, that women could actually be men. They're not designed to be men.
Keith, the only thought, I just love you so much. You're so knowledgeable. Keith does other shows. The only thing that bothered me, Keith believe every damn thing he reads.
No, I don't. No, I do not. No, I do not.
Oh man.
No, I do
All
not.
the survey.
I got
how many of you have been asked for the survey, even the census? Here, I'll be 80 years old in 2 months, and nobody have ever asked me a question about the census. I've never given any information. How many of you on here have been asked these questions that people come out and ask 10 people, and then they do a survey? I don't believe all that stuff.
I get it. I get them all the time.
All right,
I get them all the time.
All right. Keith know I love him. I want Keith to stop believing everything he reads.
Dr. Rosie.
And he repeats it very well, I have to say. He does repeat it he makes me believe it sometimes.
You know what? The thing is, people say I don't believe you, and I can give them 10 books, 10 surveys, and 10 studies.
You make 10 people write out 1 million. People. I don't believe you, Keith. Ricky, can you make an appointment with Keith? I want you all to meet one-on-one for the next show.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down. Just
all you gotta do is email me, Ricky. We can have the thing is I have a range of people from PhDs. In fact, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it? 25 guys that make $400,000 or more. Okay.
That make them smart. That make them smart.
No, they make some. Well, some of them are PhDs. Okay, some of them are working class guys, and some of them, a lot of these guys are in IT. Okay, I know I got about 100 guys in IT that are making $150,000-$200,000 a year or more, and they follow me regularly. So
Nice.
I have what's it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that actually consult to the UN. So I have a very broad range group of people that I talk to. So it's not just one person. And a lot of currently though, a lot of stuff right now. In fact, I have a guy, an African guy out of Kenya that works with the UN, who's actually doing a study about the Gen Z being the echo of the baby boomers in America. So I've studied a whole bunch of stuff. So
okay.
My daughter's looking for a husband. My daughter.
I was just about to say that too. I'm looking for a husband. No, I'm just kidding.
Y'all gonna start doing the African style.
All right, Shawana, don't start that. Won't be nothing.
I got clients. I got clients for if you need if she needs a husband. I got clients.
All right, kids, you need to open up that business now. Come on, all right, you guys. Jamal telling us to get up out of here. Joy.
Bye.
Email me, Ricky.
So much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank you, Elaine.
Have a great
Thank
one.
you.
Okay.
You're welcome. My pleasure.